This is the New York City subway system, which moves more than 4 million passengers every day. It's the largest mass transit system in a nation whose transit infrastructure has consistently earned a grade of D from the American Society of Civil Engineers. With technology that predates the Great Depression, going all the way back to 1904, today we're going to explore the hidden risks and dangers in a system that's responsible for moving more than 130 million people every month. Here's the good news. Gone are the days of the 1970s when derailments would occur on average of once every 18 days and injuries and fatalities were fairly common. Motors would simply drop out of subway cars and wheels were known to fly off, injuring passengers and platforms. Today, after $26 billion in investment over nearly 2 decades, new technologies such as ultrasound, which informs subway officials when faltering rails are likely to break, have made derailments far less common. Here's the bad news. Fine-grained metal dust, which comes off the wheels every time they go over a section of metal track, produces sparks that could be ignited by a 600-volt current coming from the third rail that powers the subway 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here's the reason it's dangerous. It has to do with relays, a simple electromagnetic device that shorts out when a subway car rolls over a 1,000-foot section of track, identifying for subway officials where that car is. It's technology that dates back to 1904, the year the subway opened, and it's never been updated. The problem with the relays is the wiring that leads up to them. Carrying a searing 120-volt power supply, 10 times more powerful than modern wires, that wiring is wrapped in cloth that dates to the 30s. So decrepit, it burns when ignited. This is New York City, and it's going to be virtually impossible to eliminate all debris from a subway track. However, budget cuts have reduced maintenance, so it's not uncommon to see sites like this, a paper bag just inches from the third rail where it could ignite at any moment. Here's another problem. If a fire should break out, remember the cloth covering those wires filled with electricity? Firefighters can't turn on their hoses until all the electricity has been turned off, a process that could take hours due to the age of the technology. There's simply no easy way to tell which wires have electricity running through them, and it's a manual process that gets shut down one relay at a time. When fires do break out, ventilation fans such as these become absolutely critical. However, according to the MTA, only 65 to 70% of them are in a state of what's called good repair. During a recent fire, the fan was set to supply instead of exhaust mode. That's blow instead of suck to you and me. Blowing acrid smoke down the subway platform and killing 2 people. It could be a disastrous situation. Imagine this. A subway fire in a tunnel filled with smoke, a broken ventilation fan that can't clear the smoke, and all of a sudden your subway car right into that platform. You can't see the switches, so the conductor doesn't know whether or not the train can leave, and all of a sudden you and your train are paralyzed in a subway car filling with smoke and no way out.
Are we at risk of another subway fire? There have only been 2 major fires in the last 10 years, one at the Bergen Street station in 1999 and another that shut down the A and C line for nearly 2 weeks in 2004. However, the problems that caused these fires have not been corrected. Subway workers encounter nearly 100 fires every month.
Fires may just be the tip of the iceberg. The New York City subway, like any major infrastructure project, is always inherently falling apart. Rigorous maintenance is the only defense against the natural pull of inertia, of wear and tear.
However, for nearly a decade, the funds for keeping the subway in what's called a state of good repair have been nearly 1/3 less than the MTA's own needs estimates. That's translated into nearly $500 million less for the relay and stoplight system and $668 million less for line equipment, which includes ventilation, lighting, and pumps for the tunnels. So the era of horrible train derailments may not just be behind us, it may be coming right down the track.
The problem, as always, is money and attention. Communications-based train control would solve the problems and eliminate the dangers associated with the relay system. It was pioneered very successfully in the Paris subway system and uses radio tags and laser technology to identify the speed and location of every subway car. The good news is it's coming to New York, but the bad news is it's not enough of a priority to have sufficient money and attention. It will take more than a decade to fully implement that communications-based train control. The mayor's priority has been the installation of a 2nd Avenue subway line, but communications-based train control would boost capacity by more than 25% more than the planned 2nd Avenue subway line, which is getting hundreds of $millions in funding. Our mayor and the MTA president simply haven't prioritized new technology. In addition, every year when the MTA submits requests for funding, the more affluent Long Island Railroad and Metro North receive nearly 100% of their funding for simple maintenance and repair. Yet New York City Transit, the subway system, receives on average less than 2/3 of what it requests. So today we're going to visit the mayor, who's currently spending tens of millions of dollars on a re-election campaign he's guaranteed to win, and the MTA president, and find out why they're currently putting more than 4 million people at risk every single day.